What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at Le Poussin Rouge. It's been a minute since we have been here, and today we are here with Bill of Decrepit Birth. Thanks for being here, man.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here, man. We've been wanting Decrepit Birth on here for a while. First thing is always first. I wanted to go right into this. This year marks 20 years since the debut of Decrepit Birth and Time Begins. If you could take me back to 20 years during that time, what was the sort of mind frame with that, and how has it changed since we listened to the Polarity album and your latest album, Access Monday?
So our frame of mind back then, we were younger and just brutal, and we wanted to come out with a fast album. It was no one was doing that type of stuff at the time. A little tech, but with just sheer brutality, not just the whole time. And could never find a drummer, and people beat us to it, which was like, really? People were thinking that. And then, and then from there, we went to diminishing. And Matt wanted to not just stay mundane, write the next album be the same album, so he added melody to it, and from there it just evolved. I mean, I don't know if I'm losing track of the question you asked or not. It was kind of confounded to me. I'm old and stupid, so. But and then with Access Monday, basically, Matt wanted to get back to the brutal, but yet actually write songs that aren't just cookie cutter everywhere, like a million riffs, and actually make songs. And that's just never want to write the same album a second time. So, that's basically where we're at. I take your word that's 20 years. I don't pay attention. It's my own band. I don't really listen to Decrepit Birth.
But now that Access Monday, your last album, has been out for a while, could we be expecting some new Decrepit Birth in the near future, if you're allowed to say, of course?
I think with the way Matt writes, there is no such thing as near future, and everyone just has to be patient with that, as well as us in the band, because it wouldn't be the same if he just rushed a song and like wham bam, there we have an album. It would be a shitty album. Yeah. So yeah, there's music in the works.
I've always said that Decrepit Birth's music was a fairly experimental death metal band. I'm just wondering, is your music like a self-portrait in a way, like a reflection of who you personally are? Or is music more of an escapism to you where you don't really, where your personal life is not much of a source of inspiration?
I never even thought of it like that. It's just songs. And I don't know how it is for Matt. I know with Diminishing, it was definitely a reflection of what was going on in his life at the time. And for me, it's just trying to not be mundane and do the same abstract, weird lyrics each album and come up with stuff. And right now, I'm like, shit, I'm stumped, honestly, how to keep going with the albums. And Matt, I was trying to continue Access Monday. I have ideas to keep the story going because the story didn't end, when the album ended. But Matt's already got songs where he's got ideas for and lyrics for, which, now and then he'll write some lyrics, and hopefully he doesn't leave me hanging going, well, this is what I wrote, you got to finish it, because he's writing a story, it's like, I got to finish it. It's always kind of odd. But, we've done that in the past. And to me, it's like two stories, because I don't really know what he was trying to get across. Where he's like, I wrote the song, and it's like there's a sentence. I got to fill in after the first sentence, figuratively speaking, But yeah, so I don't know. To me, they're just songs. It's just fun, psychedelic. Whatever.
Do your lyrical ideas help influence the sound of the music in a way, or do you prefer to have music already written before?
I'd rather have Matt complete the songs and not change them, so that I don't have to all of a sudden figure out what to do again, like we've done in the past. It's like I don't want to hear the songs and learn them, then to go and record and go, that's not what I learned. So. He writes the music first. I write lyrics way ahead of time, and we just, between me and him, we piece the songs together with patterns that fit the lyric or the riffs.
Have you ever had the best lyrics ever, and then they're always one syllable over every arrangement that you have?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, music doesn't have to be orthodox, so we'll make it work. If we have to cram it, or if we just have to change what I wrote, no big deal.
You mentioned like that there are stories involved, like especially with Access Monday, that the story didn't end after the album. Is like, would you consider your whole catalog to be like, in order for somebody to get the concept of diminishing between two worlds, they should listen to "And Time Begins" in a way, and like in order to get the concept of polarity, they should listen to the diminishing of two worlds?
No, no, no. The only thing that relates off of diminishing to "And Time Begins" would be "Await the Unending," and then everything else is just random. Just abstract random.
And when it comes to the music, in a way, with the lyrical ideas, does it ever start off with a preconceived vision, in a way, or is your lyrical process very improvised and sort of like, as I like to say, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks?
Um, it's just random. I mean, there was kind of a theme within Time Begins, but they put everything out of context, so it's not chronological like I wrote it. Um, Diminishing, it was just random because Matt had ideas, as far as like the song titles, so I had to base it off of that, like because of like said personal shit in his life that he was feeling when he wrote songs. Polarity, I just got a lot of lyrics off ideas from when I was like doing psychedelics and would just have these extreme vision quest trips and come up with like one trip might give me 3 ideas for songs. And definitely Axis Mundi was a story. And it started, Matt wrote Solar Impulse. He wrote all the words for that. And I don't know what the story's about, but it's open to interpretation. I took it as it means this. And I continued the album. I started, let me rephrase that. I started Axis Monday by continuing Solar Impulse. Like, I close my eyes and take my last breath drifting. That's the last words, and that's the first words of Axis Monday. And so I just continued what I interpreted his story to be. And then the album ended, and it was like, shit, I've got more songs I need to complete the story, which at this point it's complete fiction, make-believe, because who knows what comes after this here and now. So.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is your live shows. I've had the privilege of seeing you guys play multiple times. It's always a truly an amazing experience. Is there a similar art to playing live as songwriting, or is playing live and songwriting two completely separate arts altogether?
For me, it's completely separate. It's like the passion is so much more there in a different way on stage. It's just like you're feeling it and you're feeding off the audience's energy. And yeah, I love performing. Like right now, like I said, for the writing lyrically, it's like I just don't want to stress on it because I'm like, I don't want to be mundane and always say these same things that I've said. So it's really like, man, where do I go with like, songs other than simplify and just be brutal, like straightforward brutal, which we've never probably really done vocally. So, but I'd like to keep what we're doing, with the direction we are going, but without being cliche.
And yeah, I mean, is crowd interaction and stage presence something you can really practice or rehearse, or does that just come naturally as you're playing more and more?
The crowd interaction depends on the crowd. If it's a stale crowd, I feel like it's hard to fucking fake it, is what it really is. I'm faking it. Where you get a good crowd and it's just like you feed off of it. It's death metal. It's like even with Elvis, I guess the girls swooning when he shake his hips. Like he feeds. I don't know. I mean, but death metal, any metal, punk, whatever, it's the crowd is so involved that if the crowd has energy, that's all part of the show. It's not just the Beatles up there doing their thing and the crowd's watching it stale. Or Grateful Dead, fucking, and they're in the parking lot, not even watching the band because they're just on drugs. But very important to have the crowd fucking involved because, like I said, death metal, it's the whole thing is the show. It's not just the band. And I don't know if some people get that or not. Like they just stand there looking bored, and they come up afterwards going, "That was amazing," and it's like, yeah, you could have fooled me. Yeah, thank you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that you definitely got the crowd moving tonight. It was definitely a crazy one.
Yeah, tonight was fucking good. It's been a while since we've been to New York City, so yeah, that was good.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today, for such an awesome chat. Is there just anything else with Decrepit Birth you'd like to promote with any new music or tours you got coming up, if you're allowed to say, of course?
If you know us, tell your friends, and we exist, and it blows me away when these people come up and they're like, "Wow, I'm surprised that you guys were that good," and it's like, well, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. It's like, I mean, really? It's like you looked at me sitting at the merch table and then came up to me afterwards going, wow, I was so surprised that you were doing that. It's like, whatever. Tell your friends, Tell your friends to come out and support the shit. Even if it's other bands that we're on tour with, come out and support the shows.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Decrepit Birth on tour with Vader as well as Chrisian. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.